Hi folks, this is the Mongoose GDFA playing a new game, Dawn of War 2 Retribution. This is a game I have never broadcast before, and it's mostly for instructional purposes and just to document my experience playing the game. So I'm starting off with arguably my favorite race, the Imperial Guard. I like them because they're reminiscent of a conventional army. And I'm choosing my opponents here, which I think are really fun to fight against the Orks. You get a stealth guy, an offense guy, or a support guy. I am going for the easy route and choosing the support guy, so I don't have anything too weird or big to worry about. And we will start. This is a game that I played a lot. I'm a big fan of RTS games, and I really like the workflow of this game, shall we say. It's a game that in the single player you can pause and still issue orders, essentially making it kind of turn-based like the original tabletop games, so that is neat. Definitely different from your StarCrafts, your Command and Conquers. A lot of features in this one that are different and cool, so I'll try to go over those as I see them here. Took me a while to figure out that I needed to press any key with that nice looks like it's part of the loading backdrop press any key message. So, start out with your stronghold. This is a hard point capture game, so before anything else, I start my boys out to go and capture one of these victory points here out in the wilderness. And there's also other points that give you requisition points to spend on your army, and power, another separate form of resource. As we see there, I'm already trying to get a unit that requires too much power, namely the heavy weapons squad. The squad that I work with all the time in basically every race because I am a standoff player. There I am. Since it's taking so long to cap this VP, I'm sending my little minigunner squad out there to capture another point. In this case, that appears to be a requisition point.
Here, let's get to it.
So I've already used my stronghold off screen there to begin the build of another small squad. Basically your lasgun squad, guardsmen guys. We've capped the point and I've set my rally point for the stronghold already in the general vicinity of where those new guardsmen just deployed.
Commander here. Go ahead. I am on my way.
So I'm checking over my commander's loadout options. Trying to equip a grenade launcher there, it seems. I liked the idea of a grenade launcher against Orks because they will use cover, but they're not the best shots in the world. Grenade launcher, I figure, could root them out. Lord General, sending him up the center there.
If we don't take that power node,
Lord General has the most hit points, being a hero unit, so I figure he can more or less scout on his own, and he's got his little retinue of a couple guardsmen for extra fire support. They'll get taken down in melee, but because of his hit points and his power weapon, he will be okay in melee for a while. So I've captured my first power node, moving my boys into cover there to support it, while it is building a generator, capping a power node in the center as well. Power nodes require separate structures to support them to their full potential generators. Those cost 100 requisition apiece. But I'm already at 700s, having not really been too liberal with my unit production as of yet, so I'm popping those down. As for the
Sir, it's just not
still
possible.
trying to produce that heavy weapons squad, and there it goes. Now with those generators up, I'm getting power at a good rate.
So the generator is online.
I'm still not fully familiar with all the loadout options for this multiplayer campaign. They appear to be similar to the tabletop version, which is refreshing. You more or less apply as many as you like, unless they supersede a different upgrade, it would seem. Sending my guardsmen forward en masse to secure another VP, mostly just to provide possible support to our Lord General up in the center, who's moved quite far up in the map. This is an easy AI opponent, so testing their mettle a little bit here.
You know we're ready.
Got my heavy weapon squad there to support the Lord General. Heavy weapon squad provides suppression against all infantry types,
You know
which
we're
is
ready.
amazingly useful. Slows the entire squad down, reduces their ability to fire,
Commander here.
and of
Good.
course
We've
will
more
kill them
important things to do.
as they're stuck out in the open.
Canadians are always ready. Put yourselves in gear, soldiers.
Processing
So I've just
land
added a
request.
sergeant to my guardsman
Sir, our
infantry
advantage is
squad
slight.
there.
Point spotted here.
Can't remember what bonuses that
Put
offers, to be
yourselves in
honest.
gear, soldiers. Commander here. Ready and
Presumably
right
some
then.
kind of a
Moving.
buff or
We have a target. Get to
Now
cover,
we've
men.
got a
So they both
chance.
got
Now
sergeants
we've got a chance.
You
at
know
the very
we're
least it
ready.
increases the sturdiness of the squad.
You know we're ready.
Spending a fair amount of time micromanaging
Get a move on, men.
my Imperial Guard
Get to cover,
squads,
men.
as they do get cut down pretty
Can't
easily
requisition it,
if
sir.
the enemy
Not
gets the
now.
drop on them. So these heavy
You
weapon
know,
squads
we'll
are
capture
beginning
it,
to
sir.
form these staggered overarching
Go ahead.
cones of fire that I favor.
You know we're ready.
Lasgun
Commander,
squads
Canadians are
can
always
harass the enemy, provide support
You
from
know we have a
cover,
target.
whittle them down, while heavy weapons prevents them from advancing.
Upgrade order
Trying to get a
received.
chimera
Proceed.
there.
That's requisition
Heavy
too low
transport.
for that.
Light in the tank range will get killed. Ah. There's their hero unit. Trying to zap in using his special ability, teleport. Got right in there on my command squad, but
This had better be over the proverbial reach.
was forced off, as will be the shooters here. McBoy teleporting back in to try and cause some more damage, but being forced off by delightful heavy weapons fire.
You know right. We are engaged here.
Those grenades already proving to be relatively useful. McBoy coming back for more. Seems the computer will essentially try and do things until the mech boys nearly toast and then retreat him each time. But they're
We are
right near
winning
their
this
base, so
one,
his
sir.
retreat distance is very short, so he keeps coming back.
Under attack.
Orders, sir.
Lord General
We're
is...
moving now. Go ahead, sir.
Both of his retinue appear to be surviving. Stormtroopers there.
Better be important.
I'm more or less tanking, and he is currently suppressed by their turret heavy weapon.
Sir, they've a solid 200 points now.
Grenades, try to catch the retreaters. Not quite led well enough. Good shot there, though. Quite a distance on the grenade
We have a
launcher.
target. Commander here. It'll make a
Helps
fine
the Lord
addition.
General to keep his distance.
I am on my way.
Heavy weapon
You
squad
know we're
moving
ready. Let's take
to
cover over
cap
there.
power.
Canadians are always ready. Get a move on, men.
Secondary heavy weapon
You know
squad
we're
moving right to support. A capped enemy structure takes twice as long to cap compared to so Orks moving into my Cadians there, give them the order to support, but they've got their second squad there to support them.
Let's do it.
We're moving
Sir,
now.
we're losing a victory point out there.
Looks like their mech boy teleported past my line to try and cap this VP here, stave off my win, and that has been successful. But Lord General cautiously ordered into the fray just to see if that mech boy is going to try and retreat back home.
Additional troops have reported.
And here we have the
reaching
Chimera rolling in finally. Infantry support vehicle acts as a mobile command center reinforcing and has tremendous suppression
Get a
potential.
move on, men.
Face real
More
soldiers,
friendly infantry that are inside this vehicle, the more secondary lasgun fire will come out of the side ports, as you see there. Not to mention a heavy bolter on the front. Excellent suppression. This is a great tier 2 vehicle
Causing
to have
damage to
against
structure.
a opponent that is not prepared to face armor early on. In the case of these orcs, that would definitely be the case.
Standing by for orders.
So I'm going to be able to load my slower guardsmen into this Chimera, move them around,
Reporting.
harass the enemy, kill lighter enemies, and I can empty it out of its boys if need be. Heavy weapon squads do not appear to be able to fire conventionally with their normal weapons from this transport, but they will still man the side guns. So you load them out if you really need their big guns, basically. Vehicles, of course, cannot capture VPs, so I'm relying on my Lord General for that. Mech Boy still up to his nonsense out there, so Chimera will move out to see what they can do about him. I'm confident that that's underway, so I'm just checking on my heavy weapon squad who is entrenched near the enemy base. They don't seem to be concerned very much about it, though.
They have 100 points set.
Nice shot. Now they're going to light him up, of course, but as he is retreating, he gets an armor bonus. Not going to do much against that hero, but a nice fuck you to their side. Run away, run away. Looks like second heavy weapon squad deployed now. Got some courage there. Chimera, generally best to deploy parallel to your main infantry
Now we've got a
advance.
chance.
That way you don't destroy the cover they are trying to use by rolling over it.
We are winning this one, sir.
Boldly onward. Oh, we've got a stale VP there, don't we, boys? Well, that takes top priority.
Right then. Moving.
Standing by here.
Acadians are always
Stacking up both heavy weapon squads. Going to count on the Chimera to provide anti-infantry support. Move him up if need be.
We're standing by here.
Why are they doing that in
A victory point
anticipation?
is slipping away.
Ah. So this enemy AI is pretty good at moving forward to cap VPs. As you can see, I've produced an Ogren squad on the side.
Right.
Excellent for, in my mind, after you have your vehicles, Ogren support them. So they can shoot, kind of in an orky fashion, but they can shoot. But better yet, they can kill all sorts of things in melee. As illustrated here, Mech Boy goes down in short order.
Boy's been eliminated.
This had better be in.
But he's already been revived, and where that teleport is already working around there. That intenser slamming sound you're hearing there is an autocannon, one of the 3 weapon types that a heavy weapon squad can upgrade to. And you can see now that sergeant working on the heavy weapon squad causes them to entrench, get that glowing shield around them. After they have been deployed for a certain amount of time, they will entrench, meaning they are immune to knockback from explosions in melee, and they also take a little less damage as well.
Use your power, then. Let's do it.
Mech Boy still being brave, but retreating. Autocannon taking chunks out of it. Such a great weapon. Rapid fire, and there's the win.
Victory.
Points depleted on the enemy side. We can see there the Mech Boy just in a blaze of shrapnel from that autocannon. We are right on the front step of their base. Just with solid vehicle support, overarching cones of fire, light infantry support and cover, and going after points. Lord General seems to have retreated at some point there, but still everyone else has got it locked down. So that's the first round. Easy opponent, and it shows. This is my second play. Changing over to my second favorite race, arguably Space Marines. Tech Marine for defense, builds things, repairs things. Apothecary heals things, and various support buffs, I believe. And a crazy force commander. For the sake of my playstyle, I'm going for the Tech Marine, because I enjoy the defensive options. And how about a big fancy bug? The Tyranids. My favorite race to see square off against Space Marines, because hey, knights squishing bugs makes sense. So, we have a defender. He does burrowing, can move units around. Stealth guy, kind of scary. But for pure wow factor, let's go for the big tank. He's got his lipstick on his talons and he's ready to go, folks. This time I'll be ready for the drop with the click to start in the nice, decorative, non-system looking font. It's in the same spot as loading, so I suppose I should have paid attention to it the first game. I picked the same level, just for clarity really, and also because I didn't think to choose a different one. You can see there I have kind of a dragon symbol on my base. That is part of my custom army paint job. Started to think a little more European lately in terms of dragons and such. Already moving my folks out there. We see our scout squad has a number of options. I'm already familiar with them, so I didn't actually peruse them in this game. Scouts are only really used by me in a role against the living human players that are not covering the field so judiciously with AI precision and infinite bravery. Scout squads that will give sniper rifles, allow infiltration options, flanking the enemy with shotguns, and so on. So, same strategy as before, splitting apart squads to perform initial capturing.
Adding support structure.
Usually I have two force groups, keyboard hotkeys 1 and 2, one for each flank, and I will either individually select or for units with varied abilities use the tab button to switch between those squads. Already seeing their force commander capturing center power there. He won't be driven off for a while, but those bolters significantly more powerful than the Infi las guns from the previous match. Seeing already got the enemy force commander at about 50%. I believe that may be a scout squad actually. Yes, that is a scout squad, plus my tech marine, so hero damage will be higher. Already forcing evil force commander away.
The tide of battle turns toward the righteous.
Thanks, buddy. So, having capped, moving Space Marines up as quickly as possible, setting them to be the rally point for my stronghold. Looking to get a Devastator squad out. They need more power, so remembering that from last game and getting it going. Just looking at my options here for my Tech Marine. Turrets are great in my mind. Presents an immobile, unreinforceable, but still fairly high hit point and high damage structure for minimum time expenditure. Something you don't mind losing, and you can scuttle it. So we see now some Infi melee forcing my Marines off there. Attack Marines, they probably just have knives or what have you, so shows them bashing with their guns. Not very good in melee. They will last longer than your Cadians, but due to a smaller squad size, the overall engagement duration is not significantly increased there. But, quick retreat, and they will be joined by my Devastators now. Devastators, the heavy weapons crew of the Space Marines. Tyranids being aggressive here, seeming to operate in the same pattern as the Orkish enemy of the previous game, capping left flank power and VPs. So, Space Marines very slow on their feet, already having to nearly abandon that second center power node. Looking to get some more firepower there immediately because they are still capping. Finally being forced off by scout bolter fire. Got my tarantula deployed there. Hopefully will serve to interdict those center caps they're so fond of. VP in the lower left and center left are still in enemy hands, so struggling to get power here, hold this spot. To that end, secondary Tech Marine build unit ability, or rather structure build ability. In this case, a beacon, which serves as a reinforcement point. Very handy, as we will see later in this engagement. Using that little zapper arm there to put things together. Scouts are fast, so just sending them to that VP. If they get torn up, we can have them retreat to home, which is thankfully close. But Tyranids currently with a more than a 10-point advantage, and we've already got some heavy melee in, attacking my force commander. He is at 50% now, so I'm going to just try and lure him into the arc of fire of my newly deployed gun. Tactical Marines forming the same option now that they're being chased. And finally, within the cone of fire of that useful heavy bolter gun there, being forced off. Always nice to have devastators screaming at you, knowing that you're safe, that they're angry at the enemy.
Additional power needed.
Still not fully versed in the power requirements, but I'm told that Space Marines are a power-hungry race, and thus far being proven true. Sliding in VPs, so definitely need to move forward with that. Being a little brave here, Force Commander at 50%, as well as the fragile scouts now seeing enemy Force Commander. At least we know where we are with him now, though. So AI player being conservative, not moving into the firing arc of that heavy bolter turret, keeping me out here in the open. In fact, those scouts are going to need to retreat almost immediately. Not losing a model there, so that's good. Moving for a southern hook around flank here, basically, around this major terrain feature. I'm going to try and build up another line of fire. I'm thinking that the Force Commander is in the south still, so I'm ordering my heavy weapons squad that you just saw there to cone of fire south. Looking to get a dreadnought here, and I'm not at good enough power for that because I'm still upgrading to tier 2 on my stronghold. Tyranids maintaining their aggressive posture, capping my requisition, installed a refractor field on my Tech Marine there in the event of a close range engagement, because I am not seeing a health regeneration option for him. I assume apothecary specific. Having some pathing issues there, so I just order them further left. This Ravener dealie or what have you is not really responding to getting shot shitless, so down he goes. Cap VP there. See two more of his squad lingering in that area, but I'm counting on my boys to light him up. Which they are doing. I will most likely lose a squad member there, but they are actually forced off, and their Force Commander indeed is also going to run away. Not even retreat, just go elsewhere. Still looking to produce that dreadnought. Heavy melee walker, extremely useful against Tyranids, as they are a melee heavy species. Fragile units as well in general, which will be easily tossed around by that dreadnought with its special abilities that have significant knockback potential. Getting my boys into cover, as I have seen power has been lost. However, they did not destroy my generators, which is handy. Scouts are hurting, putting together a turret while they tie up the hostile baddies, which are I tried to retreat my scouts, but that didn't work. had to retreat my force commander as well. Tyranids still leading.
What word on my way?
Just seeing if that beacon heals my force commander. It did not, so into the fray regardless. Because I need to get that VP back, especially because it's arguably what could be called my natural, being that close to my base.
The enemy has destroyed one of our sentry guns.
They get caught up on the turret and are just kind of sitting still, so down they go. Look at how quickly they go down to the heavy bolter of the force commander there.
We have 300 points remaining.
If I said heavy bolter, I mean regular. It's more like perhaps a master-crafted bolter. Enemy commander using that ability to spawn rippers, these ghastly little sperm tumors. He'll catch me in melee, occupy me, but against Space Marines, their armor's too significant, and 1 XP per kill will go to my boys. Chunky. They are horrible. Oh, run away! Those are big claws. Thankfully, they will now automatically run away directly to that beacon, which will reinforce their squads automatically. You see the glowing around the little hexagonal or octagonal dealy-do with the health thing next to the tactical Marine squad's name. That is a right-click, which basically automatically reinforces that squad when they are near any kind of reinforcement point, i.e. Chimera for the Imperials, beacons, of course, Space Marines, and so on. Counting on them to get the drop on these guys, as there are only 2 hostiles in their squad, and they've already wound them down. Yes, they're about to lose a model and are forced off. More rippers tying up my devastators. I'm not backing up these particular devastators, as the left flank appears to be the major point of engagement with this particular overall battle. As you see now, the cooldown on the E ability of those tactical Marines, I'm beginning to use the Kraken bolts. Temporarily increases the damage versus heavy units. As you can see, I'm getting frustrated with that Devastator squad getting tied up by melee units. So I'm going to kind of awkwardly, at first, have my force commander go and build a turret to back them up. Still saving my requisition on that dreadnought, and you'll see why soon enough. Using just these turrets, moving my boys into better cover. Still tapping on that dreadnought, trying to get that guy. But it's a lull, despite the enemy advantage. They are not currently advancing. I'm hearing some heavy bolter fire there to the southeast. Looks like that is already paying off. Forcing off some rippers there, most likely placed by the enemy force commander for light recon. And there he is. Plenty of lead flying there. He is not getting close. However, they have nonetheless resecured that VP, and that will become, I believe, my follow-up objective. Yes, gotta get the VP back, guys. Tyranids forcing me at this point to be reactionary mostly. Not being aggressive capping those VPs, as I will have to move further up on the map, which means moving out of that central caldera into largely unknown territory. But seeing now my force commander take that ground, hoping that cover will hold. Enemy force commander being prudent here, not going up against that many Space Marines at once. If he gets me in melee, though, would be dangerous for him, but... or rather dangerous for me. But instead, yes, heavy support beast me already running away from that. I forget exactly what that enemy unit is called. Predator Guard or some such, but that is a heavily armored unit, easily as worth its weight as a force commander melee unit. I am moving these guys up, largely ignoring it because I know it is slow, and it may or may not be able to cap points, but it is attacking my generator here. That just made me pay attention to the generator, so I'm giving it some extra buffness there for acquiring power for me, as you can see, still trying to get that dreadnought. Just counting on my boys to try and bring it down slowly with their bolter fire. You can see their enemy power node. I just noticed that in the game as well, so I'm making that mental note. Assault that next, cut down on their power. Hopefully we'll see fewer of these heavy melee units. So, turret taking some damage, but easily better than having a Marine squad fulfill that role and getting tossed around. And thankfully Tech Marine got the last shot, so he's the one to gain the XP from that kill. Not sure if that is every squad firing gets XP or only whoever delivers the last shot. Now we've got a dreadnought. We will begin to see the tide turn. Being brave there, center flank, or rather center area. Some rippers there. That big blast there came from a las cannon, which I have now upgraded one of my Devastator squads to. Knowing now that I have a unit that can deal with melee, I'm giving them something that will not suppress hostile infantry, but is good for heavy units, a la that Force Commander and that big pillbug that we saw rampaging around until we were able to take it down. And he will, because he's good at melee. Here's my boys. Here comes another pillbug. That'll be its impromptu name for the moment. Tyrant Guard, I believe. Already sending the dreadnought after him. But they have similar land speed, unfortunately. So I'm going to see what happens with the Tyrant Guard initially. Meantime, attack squad pursuing that Hive Tyrant. He's spawning rippers, but look at those whacks. Look at him run. Dreadnought, very equipped for close combat, but also customizable with other weapon sets that make it good against vehicles, heavy armor, and so on. Run. So during my attempt to kill their force commander, that was a follow-up to trying to kill this thing, I forgot about this thing, but it's assaulting Marines and killing them in an area right near my beacon. So they're just coming right back, giving me time to bring my dreadnought down there and deal with him. Capping another VP here. This will begin the turn of the tide in this initially relatively sloppy and reactionary engagement. Lasgun getting a good hit there and going down, leveling up that Devastator squad. Significant investment for the Tyranids, now lost. Whittling them slightly, more or less static now. Love the robotic units in this game, particularly the Dreadnought, because he's just got a lot of personality as some beaten up kook who is entombed, as they say, in a robotic form. Almost poetic sometimes. Run. Already that new Tarantula doing a good job at serving as a standoff deterrent. Giving plasma guns to my tactical squad. Beginning to remember now the tabletop rules. You can apply multiple weapon types as modifiers to your tactical squad, which is what makes them so versatile. Plasma gun's good against heavy infantry and effective against vehicles. Enemy force commander standing defiantly but static. Just letting my TAC Marines blast him as an ice cream truck moves around outside the house.
Adding support structure.
Oh, looks like my lasgun may have taken care of the force commander based on the stream there. Yeah, we can hear that las cannon going off, so it's definitely getting shots off. So I'm just taking stock of the terrain for the moment, seeing that they're just firing at some lights there with that very good range augmented by the Dreadnought's sight distance. Just gonna kill us some melee units, big pile of them there at once. Area effect damage shown there to the Dreadnought's swings. Enemy force commander still in the same static posture. Let's chalk that up to AI, I suppose, as I've already capped that power node and am now augmenting it. More power than requisition I have at this point. But there's one of those vehicle monsters currently bashing my power. Force commander now being forced off because, hey, he wasn't doing any good. You can see my tactical marines are getting shots off with plasma gun, doing some damage to that pillbug dealy. Let's get him, Dreadnought. But as you can see now, with all the VPs capped, they are bleeding tickets really rapidly. Dreadnought with the whack.
What word? Yes, Commander. Heading out. On my way.
So now that my Tech Marine has done his business here and there, let's just brace for a final assault. Ooh. Ouch. So that is the lasgun. What it lacks in rate of fire, it makes up for in nearly 100% accuracy, often even through terrain, laughably. You can practically fire through a cliffside with this gun. It's almost OP, but it's good to have it around because vehicles go down in short order.
Emperor rewards those. None can stop them.
Also effective, of course, against heavy enemy infantry. So that's the game. As you can see here, Tactical Marines upgraded. Force Commander, he's around. Tactical Marines boasting a few upgrades here and there. Plasma gun on the far left model, I suppose. And not as heavy a use of Devastators, heavy weapon squads, as in my Imperial Guard campaign, but they were being disrupted heavily by Tyranids, which is why I picked the Tyranids. Big fancy monster, forced away again and again. Thanks for watching, guys.